room. Today we're not in the music room. Today we're on the couch looking at this little tiny device. This is the Fender Mustang Micro. This is about the only Mustang I can afford at the moment. One day, we can all dream. But alas, this little device is a all-in-one headphone amplifier. I've seen a lot of reviews on the YouTube, but most of them were supplied by Fender to the reviewer, so they're not completely unbiased. Here, I'm going to tell you all the quirks and features from an unbiased, I paid for it myself experience. The Fender Mustang Micro is a tiny headphone amplifier. It has plenty of amp models to choose from, different EQ settings, and different effects that you can put on to your guitar signal. It has an 1/8 inch headphone jack at the bottom, along with a USB-C port for charging and recording. That entire intro you just heard was all done with this little guy, no pedals, just directly into GarageBand. On the side is a on and off switch with a Bluetooth connection, and to connect to your guitar is this handy dandy little 1/4 inch connection here. The Fender Mustang Micro has gone up in price since the original launch. Right now in Canada it's about $169.99. That's a pretty steep amount for this tiny little device. So with the price being said, let's take a look at its features and whether or not it is still worth the heftier price tag. So let's start with the pros. The pros are the sheer amount of features for this thing. It's an all-in-one recording and practicing device for on-the-go use. It has a pretty good battery life, and its USB-C connection makes it a great universal device, so you don't have to carry another charger around with you. The amp models in here sound pretty good. The way they kind of intend you to use the device is if you want more gain, you go to another amplifier. These by no means are gonna fool anybody into thinking you are playing through a tube amp, but with a good pair of headphones, they're plenty adequate for practicing on the couch. The EQ settings here are rather limited. They're kind of 5 or 6 presets as to what kind of EQ you want, either brighter or darker. And the effects here are a kind of a wide range from reverbs to modulations to delays and combinations of those things. The modify button here changes the parameters of that effect, and for the most part there's a little bit of everything for all different types of players. If you want to practice metal on this thing, you're all set with some amps. Do I wish there was a little bit more adjustment in the parameters of the delays and those types of effects? Yes, but for the sake of simplicity, having this be a complete all-in-one device, it makes sense why there's not that many variations. Would I like to plug this into my computer and tweak some things and maybe give myself 5 presets to deal with for my genres and my particular practice situations? That would be awesome, but that is not what this thing is really for. Like I said before, this device also works as a recording device. I didn't experience any kind of latency. I heard some people have that experience with this, but just hooking it up to my GarageBand with my MacBook Pro, totally seamless experience as far as I'm concerned. Another great thing that a lot of reviews didn't quite mention was this little device's use with effects pedals. I can plug this at the end of my pedal board or my pedal chain, have a really great home practice experience. If your pedals are all powered by 9-volt batteries, then in theory you can take this thing anywhere you want, and that's a great deal. So that's all the good stuff. Let's go on to the things that bother me with this tiny little device. I would have absolutely loved to have seen a tuner on this thing. I don't know how they would have done it. Maybe in the next iteration of the Mustang Micro, but a tuner would have just completely sold this package in terms of a practice device. Having to have a separate tuner to hook into your guitar or a headstock tuner is just yet another thing to carry around. So even just like a basic little LED light to tell me whether or not I'm in tune would be awesome. Another thing I want to point out are some of the amp effects. Sometimes I get this little sizzle sound when I'm playing certain kind of lower notes. It's kind of like part of the digital modeling of this device. Is it a deal breaker? No, it's just a little bit bothersome, and it's just par for the course with this kind of modeling technology. Another thing I want to point out is the issues I've had with noise. When plugging into this guitar specifically, I've had some problems. Having a little computer this close to all the electronics on the guitar that are not shielded as best as probably they could be, I get extra noise when it comes to the 60 cycle hum, and also just other noise introduced just by the frequencies this thing emits. It can be mitigated by plugging this into a pedal and having a cable run out, so there's a little bit more distance. But that's kind of not what you want to be doing with this kind of little device, especially when part of its selling features is that it's so small. But that being said, these little gripes are they're gripes for one, but at $160, 170, 200 total with tax, it's a harder sell, that's for sure. The thing is that this is probably the best option still on the market. So if you can find this thing on sale, I think this is a great buy. Or if you got gift cards or something like I did, thanks, family. This is a great little practice device, and it's really great if you don't want to bother your wife with a loud tube amp. Or just chill out on the couch like I did today. So, I'm going to go through a couple more tones in another song. This isn't meant to be like a extensive look at every single last feature kind of review, every single last tone you can get out of it. This is more just practical application. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more music reviews and other fun musical related things that I like doing. And if this review has been handy dandy, hit the like button and leave a comment. That being said, let's get on to our next and final jam.